So hi everyone, it's Kira with Be Inspired with Kira, and today we are going to be discussing one of the do's and don'ts of dating in today's era. Okay, so we're just going to be doing one today, and so the one we're going to choose to discuss today is don't get a boyfriend, get into a relationship, and then lose all your friends and stop talking to all your friends and stop hanging out with everyone that you always hung out with before, because you allow that relationship to completely consume you, like 100%, and then all of a sudden you lose yourself and you're like, oh my gosh. Get into that relationship and continue to make time for your friends. It doesn't have to be in every day occurrence like it used to be, but make sure that you integrate your friends into that relationship, and make sure that person that you're working with in that relationship is on the same page as you as far as that is concerned as well. That's very important, because the last thing you want to do is to be in a relationship where they end up controlling you and take up all of your time, or that you allow yourself to be controlled and have that time of yours taken up 100%. You've got to make sure that you take some time for yourself, and then also integrate your friends into there as well. Okay, same with men, women, partner to partner. It doesn't matter the dynamics there. It's just the fact that you need to make sure that you're taking time for yourself as well. That is going to make the relationship a lot healthier, because you're going to be able to have that time apart, and then when you get back together, you're going to have that that remaining time to actually discuss what you did there, and it keeps it fresh, it keeps it new. And you've got to be able to trust your partners in order to have this happen too. I know there are some people that are like, I don't want you to go out with these people because they were your friends, and you or the partner thinks that they're going to manipulate them into behaving a certain way. Honestly, if you don't trust your partner, you shouldn't be in the relationship, okay? Or you should really consider why you're in a relationship with that person if you have no trust, okay? That's something you need to go talk to a counselor about. Make sure that you're being honest with yourselves and why you are in that relationship. That's a serious situation when that happens. So make sure, if you are having a problem like that, then take the proper precautions, take the necessary action that you need to take in order to get that resolved, okay? It's very important. Then you can either continue being in a relationship or end the relationship. It's whatever it works best for you, okay? Like I said, every relationship is going to be different. Dynamics are going to be different, so keep that in mind when I'm discussing this with you as well, okay? But at the same time, when we get back to basics, that's where I'm coming from here, and I think a lot of people forget about the basics, and then all of a sudden their life is consumed with this other person. They forgot who they were. They forgot, oh yeah, I love to do this. Oh, whoops, I forgot about that. Or I just stopped doing it because I allowed myself to not take that time for myself. When you are in a relationship, you have to remember that you're going to be integrating your lives together. So you're going to be integrating your personal emotions, feelings, admirations, and all these different situations, plus theirs, plus their family dynamics, plus if there's children involved, pets involved, property involved. There are so many different aspects to consider. At the same time, make sure your values are, compatible in the beginning as well. Okay, that's important, because you don't want to be someone that is constantly busy and working, and then have someone or jump into a relationship with someone that won't allow you to actually, do your work, and ends up in the middle of your job on a daily basis, and then all of a sudden you can't finish the job that you're working on because they end up becoming or come across as too needy, and maybe they're not trying to be, maybe they don't realize they are, and it's just a habit they have, and they haven't been told that they have it or something. I don't know. There's the personal growth involved in that situation, but at the same time, make sure that if that is happening, that you speak up and let them know that that's what's happening, so that you guys can take those proper steps to resolve it. Okay, it's very important to remember. Relationships can really work, but as long as both of you are wanting to make them work. Okay, it takes two to be in a relationship. It takes two to come to a compromise as well. Like I said, no relationship is perfect, and there's always going to be disagreements in the relationship. So keep that in mind. At the same time, you've got to allow your partner to go out with their friends. If it becomes a situation where your partner is coming home and they're just hammered or something like that, and their behavior is really, really awful, then that's something you guys need to discuss with each other, okay? Nobody's perfect, but make sure that you're not staying in a relationship that you don't value or respect. And if you do go out with your friends, be respectful that you have a partner, okay? Don't forget about your partner. But a lot of times, people, the opposite partner that's not going out, especially women, a lot of times, it happens with men too, because I've talked to them about this as well, but they tend to become jealous, or they're like, well, where are you? Well, what are you doing? Well, who's standing next to you now? Or why are you guys going to go here instead of here? And honestly, that just pushes your partner away. It pushes your partner to think about all those things that you just said and think, well, this person doesn't trust me, so maybe I'll do it anyway, because they think I'm going to do it anyway. And it's a psychological thing at that point where they don't even realize it to a certain degree, but they end up doing those things because you keep bringing them up and putting them into their mind. And they're like, well, you don't trust me anyway, so I might as well go do it. And that's not a good way to be either. But at the same time, that's what happens. So if people stop pressuring their partner and being over needy and overthinking about what's going to happen when they go out, is because of your insecurities. And that's just the honest truth. It's an insecurity of the other person that's thinking those things. You've got to be able to trust your partner. The more you trust your partner, the more they're going to come back to you and love you the way that you want and need them to. Okay. They can be very challenging for people that have an issue with insecurity. And, we were raised a certain way as women and men. And so our insecurities and our fears come out a lot of times. So the thing of it is also is that you want to make sure that your partner is aware of what your insecurities are and why and where they stem from. And so a lot of times they just show up. Your insecurities show up and it comes out of your mouth on accident. And you're like, oh. And then your partner doesn't like that. And that ends up being a discussion that you guys end up having. And sometimes it's a good discussion and sometimes it's not. And, it depends on where you are and when it happened and stuff like that, who's around, if you're, out in public or not, and as to how that all pans out. But at the same time, remember they're your partner, they love you, you're there for a reason, okay? No one's perfect. Make sure that, you guys take that time to discuss the situation with one another. And remember that when you do go out with your friends and stuff like that, you take that time for yourself. You go ahead and, be respectful. Be respectful, value your partner. Don't do anything that you wouldn't want them to do, okay? I think that's very important. Always think about that. Would you like your partner to do what you're doing? Would you appreciate it if they were doing what you were doing? If the answer is ever no, then don't do it, okay? If you ever have to think about it, if you ever have to think about would they? I don't know. Then that's a no, okay? Don't do it. Then think about that. Go and talk to your partner about it later and ask them and say, this came through my mind. Would you do this? And see what they have to say. And if they say no, or I can't believe you were thinking that. Well, you know what? Your partner's trying to open up to you and talk to you about stuff and what their feelings are. So allow them to do that, okay? And quit judging your partner for having thoughts, because everyone thinks differently and everyone has different feelings and wants and desires and stuff like that. And let them talk to you and be vulnerable, because what happens is people shut down and they won't say what they're thinking or what they're feeling and what they really want because they're afraid their partner is not going to like them, or they're going to get mad at them, and then they're going to punish them by not, having sex, or not, we're giving them the silent treatment, or, some people are, physically abusive, and that's not good either, or mentally abusive, emotionally abusive. Those are not verbally abusive. That's not okay either. So make sure you're not having any of those types of behaviors, in yourself. And if you are, then, take a minute, stop, and get some help, okay? That's very important. And then you need to think about, what this relationship really means to you, okay? You've got to trust your partner. You know what? There are beautiful women and men all over the world on pictures, out in front of you, right next to you, everywhere. There are beautiful and amazing and talented and just phenomenal people all over the place, okay? So don't compare yourself to them, because you are all of those things on your own, okay? And you have to remember that, each of you. So constantly remind yourself of that, okay? And know your value and respect yourself, love yourselves, men and women, and keep that in mind. Every time you feel insecure about something, remember your value and your worth, okay? And remember that it's not necessary to feel that way. And if you are feeling that way, then you need to voice it and explain it to your partner. And your partner, you need to do it in a calm manner and have your partner on the same page as you to, see what happens from there. Okay. If your partner takes it in a really negative way, it could be the way that you expressed it. So when you're talking to a man, when a woman talking to a man, women tend to express things differently, and men don't understand what we're saying and they want to fix it. So what happens is it gets miscommunicated, and that's where I'm here to help you. And that's why I, like on my website, beinspiredwithkira.com, and I sit there and I discuss communications, okay? Life, love, communication coach. That's what I'm doing for everyone, and I'm doing it here on my podcast, Love Talk with Kira as well, on my social medias. I'm here to share a message for everyone to utilize and, communicate with their partners. So as I always say, communication is key to being happy, right? And look towards the possibilities, right? It's true. It's true. Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be loved. And we all try our best to do that, but then sometimes it comes out wrong, and we just don't understand why. And we're like, I don't understand why he's not listening to me. I don't understand why he doesn't understand, or I don't understand why she's not listening to me, or she doesn't understand. Why doesn't she trust me? That's not love. Or they just said this to me. That's not love. That's not what love is. But it's all being miscommunicated. Your wants and your needs and desires are all being miscommunicated at this point, and there's a disconnect and a breakdown, and it's finding out what that is exactly, and then working on that specifically and why those breakdowns are happening. That's important, okay? So the do's and don'ts of dating today's era also help people with the communication process, okay? And it also helps with relationships in general, like friendships and stuff like that. So it also happens, it could be your best friend or something like that, and so all of a sudden you broke up and you're not friends anymore because of a miscommunication or something. And some people become very hard-headed and they don't want to talk to anyone anymore, and it really depends on how that breakup occurred. So a lot of times, if there was disrespect involved, a lot of people won't want to talk to that other person again, because they don't want to go through that again. But at the same time, if you really valued that person before, and it's something that could be resolved, and it wasn't an abusive behavior, or something, or an illegal behavior or something like that, then I would suggest to consider it and think about it, and always do what's best for you. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. I'm here to help explain how to do things if you want to. Okay, so that's what advice is about and coaching. So I I think I'm going to end this for today. I wanted to make sure that I got this out to the public and shared my words of wisdom for everyone. I hope everyone's having a super fantastic weekend. And we just had our holiday Memorial weekend, which was awesome. And so now it's on to 4th of July. So I know everyone's getting ready for that. So one last time to reiterate, what we're discussing today was the do's and don'ts of dating in today's era, and one topic specifically was, don't get into a relationship and get rid of all your friends and not see them again. Don't talk to them and have your life consumed in the relationship. Take time for yourself and your friends, and make sure that you're on the same page with your partner and set those boundaries in the beginning so that you don't have to worry about it later, and your partner understands where you're coming from when you do take that time. Okay, let's all show respect and love to one another, and you guys have a super fantastic rest of your weekend, and we will talk soon. Okay, thanks.